Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing Tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. And a special shout out to all of the new subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for being here, and I want to give a special shout out to those of you watching from the Netherlands. I saw that comment and I was like, oh my gosh. So for those of you that saw that short little clip, that it was like a 40-second clip that has just like, for a small channel, has taken off on YouTube and has and if you've made that jump from that little clip that posted 2 months ago to actually joining us here at the channel, I really do appreciate it. So welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be Maggot Mike and his declaration that Donald Trump was an FBI informant. Now, I will say that, okay, first of all, when I heard that, I think I laughed for like 5 minutes straight. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. I had tears going down my face. I mean, it was like, there is absolute no freaking way in hell that that was true. And I didn't think that there would be like a tarot reading in this. And that since then, you know, Maggot Mike has come back and said, well, you know, maybe I misspoke. Well, you don't say. Because I was even saying, so like, when he says FBI informant, does that mean that he was like flipping on Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? Does Maggot Mike not know snitches get stitches? I mean, like, what the hell was he thinking? And so now he's walked all that back and said, oh, oopsies, maybe that wasn't quite exactly, you know, what I meant. And it was like, okay, so remember, I did a reading, you know, whichever reading it was, I said that the Republicans and MAGA, they are going to muddy those waters as much as they can. And that is exactly what that was Maggot Mike muddying the waters. Seriously, you guys, I laughed for a really long time over that. Because it was like, there's no way in hell. You know, like him being interviewed by the FBI is not being an FBI informant. So what I want to do is I want to look at, is there going to be political fallout for Maggot Mike just being a complete idiot? Or, you know, like, what's that going to look like for him now that he has, you know, stepped in a big old pile of Donald shit? And what is that going to look like for him? So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into the reading. Maggot Mike. And as I've had it, women call him Moses Mike. So, you know, Maggot Moses Mike. What the, it's like the reading, can I just say, what the hell? But really, I want to know I actually do want to know what the political fallout is going to be from just that absolute ridiculous story that he spun there. Okay. What is the fallout going to be from Maggot Mike and his little tale that he told about Trump? Okay, and as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Someone needs to tell Maggot Mike, God don't like liars. This is restrictions. Okay, obviously I'm gonna put more cards out, and I don't know what order you guys are gonna be seeing the readings, but around the Epstein files, I've been getting restrictions. So I'm curious about where that's gonna go. Quickly. Okay, and then that's the Eight of Wands, just quickly. And that's the challenge. The challenge is it's not happening fast enough. Okay, so these files are not being released. It's restricted. And the challenge is hurry the hell up. Okay, we're tired of waiting. Patience. Okay, and I just said, hurry the hell up. And so Tarot has a sense of humor. Patience. Okay, that is not at all what we want to hear. Major transformation. Okay, that's going to be the foundation of this. And the foundation, I always see this card. Let me put this card out to the next one. Okay, this card is the foundation. This is kind of like, this is where the reading is growing out of. Okay, the recent events are going to be, you know, they said that they were going to release the files. Trump ran on those promises of releasing the files. And really, because I've been like, why did he even say that, knowing that he's all over them? And I think it was just to get the votes. I really think that he thought he could just lie about it and people would forget about it. And it's like those QAnon conspiracy theorists, like that's their bread and butter. They're not going to let that go. So he's finding that, and this really isn't coming up about Maggot Mike, I'll ask again, but they said they would release the files. The foundation, what's growing out of this is that this is going to end a lot of people. A lot of people. And what I noticed in this is the white here of purity and innocence. So the innocence of the children, who are now adults and want their stories heard. And the courage that they are exhibiting. That red, I'm going to see as courage. So innocence and courage to bring about major transformation. And that's interesting. In this deck, it's a flag. So they're letting that, the flag of truth is going to be what brings this entire cabal down. That's what this is. So very interesting. I like the symbology in that. And then the oligarchs. These are the powerful men. Do not want this stuff out. And be patient. I think I am going to post that other reading, the Tarot Rewind. I'm going to post that first so that I can kind of, talk about some of the stuff that came up in that one here. I got that it was going to be blocked and that they were having a hard time getting stuff released from the estate. But then, after I did that reading, it came up that they're going to be getting stuff from the estate. So I'm going to be curious about why that came up blocked. I think that whatever they get, there's so much more. And maybe that's kind of what I was picking up on. But this right here is, when I asked about Maggot Mike, and his political future and the fallout, this is about the Epstein files. Something that's been blocked, something that, we want released. Hurry the hell up. And then, Tarot has a sense of humor. Just be patient. Yeah. I'm kind of like, fuck that noise. And then you get major transformation, and that this is definitely going to bring an end to the oligarchs. And I say oligarchs, the wealthy people who participated in child sex trafficking. And the recent past is also like they've released a little bit. The government's released a little bit. There's been, and this may be, okay, I was getting ready to say this could just be the trickling out of the information, but I'm feeling like, no, this is like the Band-Aid has been ripped off. So that's interesting. I'm feeling that with that card. Because I was getting everything was blocked. And I will say it was like in that other reading, which you saw yesterday, I got that everything was blocked. And then like all of a sudden it was like, there was like a piece that was released that confirms Donald in those files in an undeniable way. And then the floodgates open. Okay, so maybe that's what we're getting, like, just be patient. We're getting ready, like, we're gearing up for that. And maybe that's what's, like, what I was getting, like, at the time I was doing the reading was that. So, once again, fallout. Will there be fallout with Maggot Mike and his little lie that he told there? Is there going to be political fallout? And the political fallout against Mike, the truth is going to come out. And there's working on the truth coming out. And the challenge is working on getting that truth to come out. So with that challenge, let me sit with that just for a minute. The challenge, the truth is coming out, and the challenge is the work being done. I think that there is, like, this is the stuff that's already been released, and that's the challenge. Okay, there we go. That's the challenge. The government is saying, oh yeah, we've released stuff, and it's like, but you've released stuff that was already open to the public domain. We want to see all of it. What are we missing? What are we not seeing here? That this is blocking view. So yeah, we may have some of it that was already released to the public, but here's these others, that would provide that full picture. That's the challenge, is getting everything so that we can have the full picture there. This is not, I don't know that there's going to be, people rejoice when it finally comes out, and I'm going to see this as the survivors. the women who are rejoicing that their truth has finally been told, that it's finally come out. Reinvention, this is one of the Judgment card, rising out of the ashes. Okay. And this is going to be the women. The truth is going to set them free. And then, the angel wings also here is I'm going to see this kind of as truth also. Where am I? Okay. Yeah, what happened to them as children? These are the agreements that the adults made. Okay, and once again, wings here. And the truth is just, and I really do think that when the truth comes out, I mean, like I say, it's going to take off like wildfire. Just think of it like, it's going to have wings and take on a life of its own. And this, once again, this is going to put an end. And that's interesting. It comes up with this. It's going to put an end to the oligarchs and to the wealthy men and women. Ghislaine Maxwell was part of that. So I don't think that she's the only woman that's going to be a part of that. But the wealthy that were part of this, it's going to put an end to them. So let me just ask Maggot Mike, because I'm not getting anything here about Maggot Mike. This is telling me it's just another day in MAGA world. So what? They lied. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. That the more important thing is that the truth is going to be coming out. Okay, and with Maggot Mike, fool. He's a fool. I'm going to take that card for face value. Lying, illusions, muddying up the waters about these Epstein files, trying to say that it was Trump was being the FBI informant about these files, and the illusion of that. And very rarely do I take these cards for face value, but if we're going to talk about Maggot Moses Mike and the Fool card comes up, yep, I'm going to go with it. Okay, so, and what's also interesting is this is needing everything that you need to start. This card is about starting a new journey. The card that comes right after it in the Major Arcana is, what do you need for this new journey that you're beginning? I'm taking this as, in the lower energy, he's a damn fool, and what more lies can he come up with? Because that was a doozy. Okay, was that one. So, now I want to do kind of a continue. I've got plenty of time here. So I want to kind of do a continuation of how we're going to get these files. I know that, as I said, yesterday, the reading you saw yesterday, when I did that, everything was just like blocked. And then all of a sudden it was like, there was this piece that just kind of fell into place and took off like wildfire. So I want to know, is that, I'm trying to think how I want to word this. Let me come up here. Okay, so with Maggot Mike, there's no it's not showing like there's any consequences. He's not even coming up. Like, I'm asking, and I've asked twice, and it kind of said the same thing. So as far as consequences against, Maggot Mike, I probably not, whatever. And so it's just like another day in the maggot party of, what ridiculous lies can we say to see, and that the true and faithful believe him. Blue dot, red state, I see it every day. So it doesn't surprise me. So I kind of want to continue on this path of like a continuation from yesterday's reading, which was a tarot rewind and update. Anyway, I want to know where the information is coming from. What I got was that the estate, there was something about the estate. So I don't know that we're getting everything from that. There was like things that had to be worked out. There's the possibility of one of the survivors has, the receipts, undeniable confirmation that Trump is in those files. Okay. There's also going to be, this is supposed to be an international sex trafficking, cabal thing, whatever. And organized crime, very much. But it's an international organized crime thing. And so, what could there be other countries that release information? Is it going to come from, Elon? And I'm going to put like Elon / Putin, kind of, they get their own little special category. So it's like, where is this coming from? So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of ask, and I'm going to put like 3 cards out for each of those and see if we can kind of get this feeling of where exactly are we going to get that big picture, that when is that the blind's going to be moved to where we can see out that window, going back to, what was it, the 8 of Pentacles in this. So let's look at the Epstein estate. The information that's being released from the Epstein estate, what is that? Like, is that going to be clearing up the picture? Is that going to be that undeniable confirmation that Trump is in those files? And with that battle weary, they do release evidence. I don't know that they're releasing everything that they have. No, they're holding some back. Yeah, they're not going to release everything. They're holding some stuff back. Okay. So the reason this is a card of hesitation, this is a card of laying in rest, and this is looking over what they have, but they're battle weary. So I think it's like they need certain assurances. That's kind of what I'm feeling in this, that there needs to be assurances on the backlash. Okay. I'm feeling security assurances. So what about a survivor who hasn't, coming forth with evidence that we haven't seen? So, a survivor that's out there sitting on evidence that will they be coming forward with this. And with a survivor, yes. Okay, and when I was using this deck, I noticed, does that not look like if you painted him a little bit with a little bit more orange skin tone, is that not Donald Trump? And then here's the young children down here. And we all know what the Catholic Church has gone through. So this really is that feeling of, and I was asking about, is there going to be confirmation from one of the survivors? And this card comes up, yes, believe the survivors. And this is also telling me, if I'm getting like that Catholic Church, vibes from this with their child sex scandal, that there's still, fallout from that. This is telling me that, hold on just a second. It's almost like the head of the church knew that, and now we've got the head of the government that knows that. That's the feeling I'm getting from this card, and that there is definitely undeniable evidence of that's going to be coming out, in the Judgment card. And this, whoever this is, the survivor is, she is reinventing herself. She is like rising out of the ashes, and I feel like this is for all of the survivors. Okay. Woo. This is powerful. Okay, I'm just letting you guys know. This is a powerful one. Oh, that was the next. That was the next card. I had already put. I was like, where did this extra card come out? And the wealthy men, and that was interesting because it was like she wants her voice to be heard. Okay, especially if I've already done the 3 cards and then this one, like I just kind of automatically did that. She wants her truth to be told, and she's doing this for the other survivors. I'm getting the feeling like when, why, I just get like security. Like there has to be security assurances, and also because of what Trump was going to do. That's a big thing too. Like the fallout of what he could do to them. Okay. They've already been abused. They've already been victimized. And so now what is it that, what else could he do? And this is also the pious man. I noticed that smug look, like he's trying to act like he's all, he's innocent. He's holy. He didn't do anything wrong. And then there's those children. It's like, oh, we know better. Okay. So right now, it's looking like, yes, they're going to get some stuff from the estate. However, there's more. They're not releasing everything. Okay, this is looking extremely powerful, and this is a survivor that comes forth with that undeniable proof, and it's this feeling of she's doing it for all of the survivors. For their stories to be believed, and it's the rising out of the phoenix rising out of the ashes, that reinvention. Are we going to get it from a foreign government? And with a foreign government, no, it's like they have the goods. They're waiting. It's almost like whenever okay. And about the government, let me just ask, is that, because this could be Putin also. Musk and Putin, is it going to come from one of them? The wealthy men, the tower card, like shit hits the fan, and it's another piece to the puzzle. And Dan Bongino, because he came up as a possibility also in one of my readings of, he's just like had it. Like I could see him saying, I've had it, and he just releases it. So is Dan Bongino going to be part of releasing this stuff? Okay. I wonder if it's not going to be, this is the world card. I've been getting this as, Trump's exit from this realm, but I was asking about Dan Bongino. So putting this like out there for the world to see, he knows Pam Bondi's lying. Like he knows Pam Bondi is lying, and that he wants the truth to be out there for the world to see. Okay. So with this, I think what I was getting yesterday is more along the lines of like things are blocked in that we don't get the full picture. So with what I'm getting here, it's like, yeah, there is some stuff, there's going to be some stuff that's released by the estate, but there's more. Okay. There's more that needs to be released, and they're wanting legal assurances. They're wanting some kind of like security assurances like that, especially for the survivors. As far as like a survivor who has not come forth yet, or hasn't, there's at least one survivor. There could be more survivors that actually has the receipts. They have receipts. They have evidence. And that came up as, here we go, Don Old with the children, and, the wealthy men, men, and I would suspect, women also. It wasn't just Ghislaine. And then doing this for the survivors, for their stories to be told, for their stories to be believed. That was a really strong energy that came over me with that. Okay. As far as Putin, this is giving me vibes of like he's not going to he has it, but he wants to wait to see what happens. He wants to see, what happens before he does anything, because I think that some of that could involve some of the oligarchs he's got going on there. Like the oligarchs in Russia, they don't want this coming out because of, this is my shit hits the fan card, and something of new beginnings, something of substance being offered, the receipts. I think that if Putin were to release anything, it's kind of like just another piece in the puzzle. If he were to do anything. And then Dan Bongino, he knows that Pam Bondi is lying. I would not be surprised at all if he doesn't say she's lying. Like, I don't know that he will release. If Dan Bongino releases anything, it's just like adding to the pile that's already been released, and that his piece is to say that the government's lying. That's what his piece is going to be in that. So, with all of that, there's no fallout on Maga Mike saying that Donald Trump was a FBI informant. Okay, part of me shocks me that there's no fallout, but then again, I'm not surprised that there's no fallout. As far as the information that's going to come out, I think it's going to come out from a lot of different places. I think that Congress will eventually get those 2 more signatures. I think it's going to be like, as things start coming out, it's like a little piece here, a little piece there. This survivor, she's going to have whatever explosive piece that comes out. I think at that point they get those signatures, and then you just start getting more and more that starts coming out. Now, that's a pretty specific, like, detail-y thing that I've got going on there. So, there will be some room for, things to change in that. That's how it's kind of feeling today, is like these little pieces, and then all of a sudden there's like this huge explosive piece, and that's when like the Band-Aid comes off and it just like the floodgates open. Okay, that's what I'm getting today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll put another reading up here for you to check out. And oh, they're on that side. Okay. Readings over here. I'll put another reading over here for you to check out, especially if this is one of your first readings. Check out some of my other readings and subscribe. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a great day.